Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Now also available on Apple TV, Roku, and Twitch.
That's right. I want you to be happier. I love that.
Isn't it so
Yes,
good?
it is.
Right on brand for
Right
the
on brand.
happiness expert on this Monday morning. I've got a case of the Mondays, I'm not going to lie.
It's a little tough this morning with the fog. Oh.
I just want you to be happier.
Do you? Always working on that.
I think after talking to our very special guest this morning, that will be inevitable. Well, show everyone. Good morning back in the studio.
Hi.
Hello. Cindy Lou, we're so excited to have you here. You know, she is the creator of the 4-Man Plan.
Yes, she is.
Good morning, Cindy Lou.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're so good. Lisa Link is in the house. Dog moms, what? I think we're going to laugh today. One of the world's top guitarists sitting right back there with the mic, Melina Moy. Good morning, Melina.
Morning. How are you guys?
We're so excited that you're here, and we have a morning altar.
Yes, we do.
Show Press, thank you so much for being with us. We know this is a stop on your big tour.
Happy to be here.
Well, and congratulations on the launch of your book tomorrow. We're really excited. So, Melina, you've got the mic. I'm wondering, how do you start your day?
Well, that's a very good question. Well, I'll say this. First of all, good morning, everybody. It is very early. I love an early morning. For me, I normally, first thing I do is I wake up, I thank God that I'm alive. Literally, I brush my teeth, and then I put on my jogging clothes, and I go for a nice run. Literally, I do a run, then I'll come back, I'll grab something to eat, have a cup of coffee, unwind, roll some calls, and then from there, I end up going to rehearsals or, seeing what else is on the day. But generally, that's it. I love it. I think no matter where I'm in the world, it's always about exploring somewhere nice to run, to walk, the environment, that.
Isn't it amazing how fresh air really motivates you?
Absolutely. It's incredible. She hits the ground running literally.
Literally, yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, right.
Good job, Rob. Day, thank you so much for being with us. Again, congratulations on the launch of your book tomorrow. So tell us a little bit about your morning routine.
Well, interestingly enough, my book is about a morning routine, so it's kind of perfect. Every morning I leave my front door and grab a basket and wander around my neighborhood and collect beautiful things.
I love it.
Yeah, leaves and feathers and bark and berries. And every morning now for 7 years, I've been making art out of nature.
That's so cool.
And it's a way to welcome the day. It's a way to honor a milestone. It's a way to celebrate life, to grieve life, to just be alive. And it makes me feel so alive. So that book is, 7 years of art every morning.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how I do it. It's a ritual, and it makes me into a very vibrant human being.
That's incredible. I love that. Focusing on beauty right away.
Nice.
Huh?
Yeah, beauty making.
Thank you for collecting it all for us. I'm excited. I'm going to manifest on this Monday a home where I can have a special morning altar.
Oh, I love that.
Amen.
I'm going to have you on call. You're on call. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for just bringing such light to the studio. Look at that smile,
Oh
right?
my gosh, just shining through.
I do what I can.
Wake up, show up, shine, baby. So what's your morning routine like? How do you start your day?
Opposite of these two. I am in bed until my dogs encourage me enough to get out.
I love it.
Because they want to start their day. They're hungry. So I'm kind of a night owl. I'm more of a nighttime. And actually in the morning when I'm drifting in between sleep and awake is when my muse likes to visit me and tell me all the cool things that I should do. So I love to stay in bed just kind of half in and half out for a very long time until literally my dog jumps on top of me and I'm up. And then we go outside, we get our day started, and then at some point, whatever, as an actor, your day is always different.
Sure.
So whatever that day takes on, I will get it going. But I do not start running. The only thing I'm picking up off the ground, I do put in the trash for my dog. So I am in awe of these two people, and I love it.
Oh my gosh, I'm with you, Lisa. I'm such a night person, but unfortunately, my morning muse does not visit me. She doesn't tune in until about 3 cups of coffee. So
I'm decaffeinated. It's 20 years for me decaffeinated. Wow. Yeah.
Really?
This is all just fantasy and spite. That's what's keeping me up.
Spite. That's great.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Good morning, Cindy Lou.
Hi.
Hi. We're so excited that you're here. Tell us a little bit about your morning routine. How do you start your day?
I I've actually been doing the same Kundalini yoga video since 1997. I actually stole it out of Gary Shandling's place when I was his assistant. Because he was getting rid of things, and I said, "Ooh, what's this?" So I've been doing that same one. It's Ravi Singh. He's literally between two ferns.
Thank you.
And it's 27 minutes long, and that's how I start my day.
Is it a VCR tape?
It was a VHS, and then I transferred it onto a CD, and now it's just on a thumb drive, and now it's just on my computer. But I've been doing the same one the whole time. I was like, you know what? The very best is usually good. I'm sticking with it.
You know what's so funny though is that she stole it.
Well, it was amongst the giveaways.
It was adopted.
Yes, amongst the giveaways.
It was seeking a home.
That's
It was
right.
an orphan.
It found its way.
You just
into
really
my-
adopted it, right?
That's right. I was his second assistant, so I thought, I would take advantage of the perks.
I got a feeling we might get a guest appearance by Gary Shandling any minute here.
Just from that, well, thank you. Cindy also created these gorgeous essential oils, and she shared them with me this morning, and she put this like wake up oil on my palm, and I can't stop smelling my hand now.
So what's the wake up oil smell like?
That could be
Here, you want to
problematic.
smell?
Oh, it is nice.
Isn't that nice?
There's a bag for you too, Rob.
Cindy, what did you put on my hand? Because I'm obsessed with it.
That's a blend called High on Life that we make. Malibu Essential Oils is the brand that my husband and I create out of doTERRA oils, and so that one is frankincense, wild orange, and peppermint.
Wow.
It's a little bit of
Smells
everything
amazing.
to ground you and wake up your brain, make you feel alive.
Cindy knew that if I was going to embark on the 4-man plan to really fix my dating life, I was going to need these oils. So my mother thanks you very much, Cindy.
You'll need the extra zip.
Exactly. Well, we're excited to talk to you more all later in this show.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I always feel so grateful about our guests.
I am so grateful for our guests. We have such an incredible community here at Focus TV. We're #community powered. I'm just so grateful that they wake up, they show up, and they shine with us every day.
Absolutely, and help us spread the good news.
Absolutely. Speaking of good news, Amazon just announced that they were donating $100 million.
Wow.
So if you're a customer of Amazon, as pretty much all of us are, you can choose a special buying portal, and then a small percentage of your purchase will go back to whatever charity you choose.
Oh, super cool. I love that.
So cool, right? I just
Yeah.
love that they're giving back. There's been so much tragedy, even just over the past few days. Just to be able to wake up and have something to celebrate is so important, right?
Absolutely. And here I know we talk a lot about conscious business, but it's like just really nice to see it in action.
Absolutely.
Especially with somebody like Amazon, they're huge.
So your regular purchases can now give back to charity. So
Exactly.
exciting. And California passed a new legislation that by 2020, all beauty products will be cruelty-free.
Wow. 2020, that's a year from now.
That is a year from
That's
now.
incredible.
That is massive.
That's pretty aggressive. I love that.
That is so
yes.
exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Beauty needs to be guilt-free.
Amen. And I love that you're able to find this good news, Jazz. I try sometimes. I like scroll through Yahoo. I go through like all the sites. It's sometimes really difficult to find the good news.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah. And when
What
it
do
is,
we
it's like
do?
really trivial.
Completely.
Yeah.
What are you grateful for? If you're watching us, send us a comment, slide into our DMs. We want to know what you're celebrating so we can share your good news, because it's so important to really highlight that.
Oh my gosh, totally. And the good news helps to motivate you, which brings me to a question, because I always wonder, we ask our guest, how do they stay motivated? What do they do in the morning to like start their day, right? And I always wonder what your morning routine is kind of like, Jazz, and how do you stay motivated?
To tell you the truth, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a morning person. I feel like my best self at like 9 p.m. I always have a severe case of FOMO when I put myself to bed because I have to wake up for a morning show.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that I know I get to come in and have these conversations, but it is still brutal. So I usually wake up at about 5:30 so I can make it to the gym. I get fit with Ryan.
Get fit with Ryan,
I get
yes.
fit with Ryan, and usually I'm late, so thank you for your patience, Ryan. And work out, a little cardio really just helps me wake up.
Do you use music?
I do use music. In fact, I have a very annoying pop playlist
Do
that I
you?
bop to in my Fiat the whole way. Demi Lovato, Selena, T Swift.
Yes.
I'm really, jamming out to some tunes.
Yeah.
On the way over there, I work out, then I come here and I drink about all of the coffee and Walnut can supply, and get ready. But by about 4 cups in, I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Is that when you feel most motivated during the day or during the week, or when do you feel most motivated, like most inspired?
I'm telling you, 9 o'clock at
9
night.
9 p.m.
That's when my muse hits me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's really hard for me to put myself in bed.
You've got to honor that. My sister's very much that way. She's a night owl. She's always been since she was a little girl. And it's like, to be honest with you, with her, it's like 1 a.m. She's completely wired. She's tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and like ready to work. And I don't know how that happens because I'm knocked out. I've been knocked out for probably 4 hours by then.
I will say though, having to alt my routine to be here and be a part of the show, it has made me wildly more productive because I do get so much more done in the day.
Yeah, it's interesting. It sort of reminds me, I know that when I was both in undergrad and in graduate school, we talked a lot about the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And intrinsic motivation is the kind of motivation that is an end in and of itself, right? So you do it because you're deeply passionate about it. It makes you happy. You're inspired by doing the thing itself, by the activity itself, as opposed to extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is like outer motivation. It's like money, fame, power, like impressing other people. And they basically discovered that the more intrinsically motivated you are, the more likely you are to persist, and the more likely you are to be successful with things, right? Because you're able to persist. And the more extrinsically motivated you are, the less satisfied you are, even if you do accomplish whatever it is you set out to accomplish. So I definitely appreciate you, Jess, because I feel like you have a good balance. But more than anything, you're so intrinsically motivated and intrinsically rewarded by your work.
I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Thanks for pointing it out, Rob.
You're one of the most passionate people that I know when it comes to your work.
I think that's what it really takes to run the marathon. A lot of people in Los Angeles, they come here and they think they're going to make it overnight. They're going to sprint to the Oscars. And then 12 years later, they're still serving tables. They've had a couple short films, maybe a guest star here and there, and it's exhausting. And unless you're truly passionate about whatever it is that you do, whether you're an actor, a musician, or a television host, you won't make it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're exactly right. And it sounds like such a cliche and like a spiritual platitude, like do what you love. But cliches become cliches for a reason, right? First of all. And then second of all, if you don't do what you love, you just simply can't continue to run the race. You're right. Like life is short, but life is also very, very long, especially when you hate what you do.
Do you love what you do?
Oh my gosh, every day I love it. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't say there were moments when I'm like, it'd be nice to be doing more of that or a little bit more of this. But to be honest with you, the essence of what I do every single day has been a dream of mine since I was a little boy, but I just didn't know it.
So what does your day look like, Rob? I know you start your mornings here at Good Morning LaLaLand, and then you see clients, but what is that?
Yeah, I have back-to-back clients. So mostly, let's see, so it's really 3 different types. It's executives. It's really peak performers. So they're executives, they're athletes, or they're celebrities for the most part. And they all have different challenges. At the end of the day, those challenges usually revolve around how can they get into a psychological state of flow so they can be more productive, efficient, effective, creative with less time, energy, and effort. They all feel that. And a huge part of that is just learning to be more and more present and to be more and more sort of focused, so to speak, and less distracted. There's a term now that folks have coined, which is sort of ridiculous because it's the same thing we've known forever, but they've just come up with a new word for it, which is presenteeism, which is basically, so basically people show up physically, but mentally they're not there, right? So we help them sort of work through that kind of stuff too.
How do you work through that?
Just practice. You know, like focus works like a muscle. It's just something you continue to practice and build over time. The challenge is that even as children, we're not, even though we do a lot of talking to the importance of focus, we don't actually encourage an intrinsically rewarding, intrinsically motivated kind of focus, one that enjoys the activity of focus. And so over time, our ability to focus atrophies because we get rewarded in all kinds of ways by being distracted and by multitasking, right? So if you look at it, technology, even when you go to work, you're often rewarded for multitasking, which is a horrible way to live your life because it's not very satisfying and it's not very productive.
I know, but if you get that Instagram post out on time, and
that's
then
right.
you check it out later, and then you get those likes, and you're like, wow, what the rewards are coming in.
Those likes really make your day, doesn't it? It really makes you happy.
Unfortunately, yes.
It's so true.
Well, we had a great show on Friday. We'd love to show you the rewind. Let's take a look. So where did you get the idea for this? Tell us about your journey.
Well, I have a long history in the entertainment industry, and I used to be a former makeup and hair artist for the Home and Family Show, which is in its 2nd run now. And I have a lipstick and lip balm addiction, and there's a moratorium on it in my house. My daughter's like, you can't buy another lip balm or lipstick. So because I could not buy one, I created one, which is Beverly Hills Balm.
Tell them where they can find you, how they can get their meal plan.
You go to paletta.com, and we're going to be giving you a special offer today. So just use promo code LALALAND20. You'll get 20% off your first order. I know you will be back for more because it's kind of a life changer.
You've been there, kind of dating. And now she's hosting an incredible show about it. Natasha Denbell, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We've all been kind of dating for way too long.
Yeah, and that was sort of the point of the title of the show, that nobody says they're in a relationship anymore.
everybody always just says, I'm kind of dating this guy, I'm kind of dating this girl. So I was like, well, let's get down to why we all have commitment issues.
So what is that like to have God befriend you?
I feel like he friended me from birth.
Right?
I mean, it's a super cool concept. It does a great job of mixing the power of social media and faith. I always try to say it's not a religious show. It's more so a show about human connectivity. And for me, my personal belief is that like God has instilled us with everything we need to help each other. Like we're all of the same race for a reason.
You know, my grandmother lived till 94. I became her caregiver. This was the impetus of writing the show, actually, because when she passed away, I was really questioning, like, what am I here for and what is this really about? She lost everybody in her life. She voted for an African-American president twice, which I'm sure she never thought she would be able to do. And she outlived everyone, but she woke up with a smile, and I was fascinated with that.
Well, I was raised in a conservative Catholic family, Hispanic family, Orange County. You know, no offense to Orange County, I love it, that's my hometown. But I put more pressure on myself than was actually there. And so when I came out, it was so easy. Of course I did it during Thanksgiving, because you can only come out during the holidays, and that's a family dynamic.
Everybody needs a glitter bomb.
Oh
that
my gosh.
entire show Friday,
Yes.
fire.
Epic. I really appreciate, you know, one of the things I really appreciate, and it's a theme that runs consistently, but I don't think it ever gets old, which is like your deepest, most challenging problems, like point to your highest purpose. And I noticed that with all the guests, that there was some challenge they had in their life that allowed them to realize their deepest sense of sort of felt purpose.
Even if it was a moratorium of lipsticks.
Even a moratorium of balm, that's right, of lip balm, exactly.
It is crazy, but Rob, I'm wondering if there's a way of recognizing that in the moment, because I know personally, I only see that in hindsight, right? They always say hindsight is 20/20, you know, bring up another cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah.
When I reflect on what's happened, I think, wow, there is definitely a plan and purpose for me that was greater than I could have ever designed for myself. But in that moment, it's really hard to stay focused on that.
Oh my gosh, Jazz, you nailed it. It's so difficult in the moment when you're consumed with like all the pain and anxiety and the worry that you're feeling in the moment to actually see that there might be a greater plan. And so the first part really is just faith and trust that it's there. The second part is experiencing what you need to experience from a feeling perspective and getting to the other end or other side of those feelings. And then being able to observe sort of what you felt and what happened in that moment in a non-judgmental way so that the insight can find you instead of you trying to find it. So I think sometimes your purpose is hard, and as much as we try to struggle to find it, sometimes it's by quiet mind instilling sort of that inner mental chatter that we find that the insight finds us or the purpose finds us.
I'm going to need a morning altar.
A morning altar will help.
And some more
for sure.
hand oils.
Those hand oils are pretty incredible, aren't
Pretty
they?
incredible. Well, we're so excited to talk to our guests. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
I'm Wendy Brokaw. I'm Paula Marshall. By the way, this is politics, okay? This is not ticks. I hated it. Let's do it one more time. We are talking politics. And let me do it one more time, wait. And we're called mom ticks. And take two. Let's do it one more time.
Bitching,
didn't work.
complaining.
Let me do it one more time.
We're going to do it one more time.
Ready? And action. I could bitch to Wendy, and Wendy could bitch to me. I bitch more than Wendy does.
I freak out more than she does.
Right. So we bitch. We bitch about politics.
Two moms.
Oh, two moms.
Okay, so we're two moms.
It was smart. See, smart.
Not so smart. Of course, I have a news background.
No, I'm an actress. I mean, you've seen me. Hopefully.
Ticks. Tick, 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 tick.
Oh, that's good. What? Because it's like tick, tick, tick.
Oh my God, I don't know if I can do that.
I was texting. I didn't hear what you said.
And I will still be sleepless, I am sure.
I know. Drink more wine.
Okay.
It works.
My next guest is Joel Rempelkos.
How long have we been friends for?
Welcome to Defining Moments. I'm Suzanne Quast. My next guest is Joel Rempelkos.
Oh my God!
Relapagos. Welcome to Defining Moments. I'm Suzanne Quast. My next guest is Joel Relampagos. He is one of the best people that I've ever met.
I think that his story of coming out on national TV to becoming one of reality TV's biggest producers should inspire us all. Here are his moments.
Hi, I'm Jessica Seppel. No, I'm not going to go hi. And I just had the most fabulous interview with your darling Alyssa Goodman. So excited to see the interview. That last part wasn't good. Create balance when it comes to a healthy life. Don't forget to watch it. No. So don't forget to check it out on Focus TV here in West Hollywood.
All right.
He hates it. Check it out on Focus TV.
Like it?
Can you cut it and make it better?
Oh.
You got this, girl. Here we go.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me laugh.
That was a good practice run, though.
It was a practice run, a little slow on the uptake. Let's.
Hi, my name is Jessie Golden, and I am the creator of The Golden Secrets, a completely, no, hang on a second, sorry. Can we start over?
I'm Wendy Brokaw. I'm Paula Marshall. By the way, this is politics, okay? This is not ticks. I hated it. Let's do it one more time.
Well, that's why I created Just a Thought meditation recordings, so that you can meditate in your sleep. Pause it there. Can you edit it in? Being new in town, it gives me a perspective on, oh shit, no, that was wrong. No, can we start all over? That's too much talking.
No, I'm an actress. I mean, you've seen me. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's like so hard. It's so hard.
That was so hard.
Once you go chocolate, you don't want to stop it.
Oh, God.
I'll stop.
Let's do it one more time.
Bitching,
Didn't work.
complaining.
Let me do it one more time.
We're gonna
Didn't
do
work.
it one more time.
Ready? And action.
Do I just talk again?
If you are vegan, you get a vegan broth. Jesus, guys. Fuck. I'm blah, blah.
I wish my boobs looked like yours. Where are they?
It's single issue.
Single issue!
Single issue.
Andy, did I make it fun yet?
Thank you.
It's no longer a golden secret.
We're done! Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I'm so excited to welcome Cindy Lou to the show. She is the creator and author of The 4-Man Plan, and she's going to dissect my dating life. I'm terrified. I'm gonna need some more oils for this. The calming ones, please. So what was the catalyst for this book?
I wrote the format, like you said, the greatest challenges we have become our purpose, become our inspiration, and I sucked at love. I was so bad at it. I just was one disastrous relationship after another, and you know, there were all these patterns that were happening, but they were interweaving, and it came from a really dark childhood, you know what I mean, witnessing a lot of things and then trying to replay them. So what I did with the 4-Man Plan is I was actually watching an episode of Seinfeld while I was like weeping during another breakup, and it was the episode where Jerry and George are saying, like, you know, George, your life is such a disaster. Why don't you try doing the opposite of everything that you normally do, and maybe your life will be better? And so I was like, maybe this is a message from God. God is talking to me through Seinfeld. And so I thought, okay, what is it that I do, and what is the opposite that I can do? Now, at the same time, I was also a student of Master Watching Me, who is Taoist master. His son is Dr. Mao, and they have that place on Santa Monica. And he really, I helped him to edit about 5 books. So the principles of Taoism were like very much in me. Yes. I hadn't applied any of them to my love life or my dating life. So I thought, okay, let me just get smarter about this. Let me use my wits and not just let my heart and my vagina just run roughshod over everything that I'm doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
I love it. It's funny, I wrote it 10 years ago, and one of the chapters is based off the same Seinfeld episode. It's a great principle, right? I mean, if everything you're doing feels wrong, or is working out in a bad way, you might as well try doing it the other way.
Well, it's that definition of insanity.
Yes.
It's trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? So I was like, I have to try something different.
I love
Most of us are insane when it comes to love, though.
It is an area where I think we really, all the principles that we hold so dear, like even like the idea of presence, the idea of abundance, you know what I mean? We just let all that go when it comes to our love life, and we start accusing, and it's him, and oh, I'm a terrible person. You know what I mean? Like we drown ourselves because it's a high stakes area, I think.
Is that why you think we do that? Because it's high stakes? Is it programmed? What do you
Well,
think
I think that the default of the culture really makes it difficult, especially right now, to like feel good about yourself and have a sense of progress in a situation where it's like this guy online and that guy that my mom set me up with and this person from work. I don't know if it's appropriate. You know.
Honestly, it feels more like a process of depletion. I'm depleting my time, I'm depleting my heart, I'm depleting my energy by giving all these little pieces away of me. Even if it's just a first date here, second date there, endless amounts of Bumble or Raya conversations there that there's no follow through.
That's right.
I don't feel inspired or progressive. I feel worse about myself.
That's what the 4-man plan does. It takes all of these individual dates and turns it into a process of self-discovery of yourself so that you can see who you are and what you're doing in pattern, right? So we actually use a sacred geometry shape. Can I show you?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
So this is, I know, I've terrified them of it. So this is actually the basis of the 4-man plan. This is what we call the matrix graph. And it is a 2-dimensional version of a cube. Now in sacred geometry, there's only 5 platonic solids. I won't go into all of them, but the cube is one in which you can find grounding, it's inclusive, and it allows you to experience simultaneous time, which means you can experience your past, your present, and the future all at the same time. And the graph will do that for you, right?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So
As if the present weren't enough.
Exactly.
As if just dealing with the moment.
Well, you know, when it comes to love relationships, you do want to be able to see that through line. What's coming from your family? What's actually your business? You know, what's that person's business? I always say, like, what side of the street is the trash on? You know what I mean? It's like you might need to clean up your side of the street before you start looking at the other person's side of the street, right?
I don't like to think I have a lot of baggage, but I definitely have a carry-on.
You know? We all come with something that we're bringing. You know, it doesn't really matter if you had a great childhood or not. There's things that we've witnessed and things that we've processed in a way that are here for us to solve. You know what I mean? Love is not, it's a playground, but there's a lot going on, you know what I mean? And people get hurt and things happen. And so I wanted to find a way to organize it because especially now, right, when you're like, where are all these men coming from? What do I do with them and what do I tell them?
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So how do we fix it?
So we quantify men in 4 categories. We don't do a 1 to 10 scale on looks. We do it based on what our connection is with them, right? So there's actually 4 quantities of men. And the first one is 1/4 of a man. So you see the 4-man plan is actually 16 little boxes.
Okay.
Right? So this 1/4 of a man is somebody that maybe you're just chatting with online. You don't really know them. They don't know much about you, but they're interesting. Right? So it's easy that you could actually have 16 of those, right? If you're on 3 or 4 websites and Tinder, that could easily happen.
Sure,
right?
We've got a few quarters.
Yeah, you've got a few quarters, right?
Change purse.
Yeah.
Quarter water.
I always tell women too, it's like when they're feeling depressed about their love life, go out and collect quarters. You know what I mean? Because it's nice to have that interest starting to stack up, right? So the second quantity of man is a half man. So he's sort of taking up a little more space. He's somebody that you've gone on at least 1 date with. And he also knows that you're dating other men. So it's really important for us that we let them know because we're being honest, loving, and willing. Those are the 3 things that I ask everybody to try to embody, right? And so we have to tell the men that you're seeing other men. It's assumed, I think, in today's culture, but I think when you're very clear about it, it gives people that transparency that we're looking for because we are shifting from a culture of like serial monogamy into this serial multi-dating, right? But we don't know the conversations to have around it.
Yeah, I love it. It means I can be responsible for less.
That's right. Men love the plan because they're like, okay, you need a ride to the airport. How about one of the other guys? You know what I mean? But if they really want to compete, they'll show up for that. They'll be like, I'm the one, and I'm here to help you move. You know what I mean? Or like, great. You know, you'd be surprised. Like, I never had a shortage of help or ride to the airport or, you know what I mean? Like, whatever I needed, I had a lot of men to choose from to ask. And they all knew that there were other men on the graph. So either that gives them a sense of relief, or it tells them, like, maybe I should step it up.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Who
so
else
it
is on
works
the board?
both ways.
Who else?
So then you have the whole man, right? So the whole man is somebody that you're really interested in. When I coach women, the man they end up with usually stays a whole man for a really long time, right? That's somebody that knows you're seeing other men, they're interested in you, you've had some physical contact, right?
This guy's got to be pretty evolved, that guy.
This guy's evolved because he's going to hang with it, even though you're moving through your process. And I think it's really important when you tell men that you're seeing other men, their reaction is a lot of data, right? Some women go like, oh, I don't want them to, they'll freak out. I'm like, well, if they freak out on your first date, that you're seeing other people, I'm like, that is a very important piece of information. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not flattering, it's possession. You know what I mean? And they can be not happy with it, but they can't feel like they have a right to own you at that point. So it's really important to see, like, is he okay with my choices, what I'm doing? I'm being respectful to the man, I'm being honest, I'm not sleeping around, you know what I mean? So that is something you want to know about somebody. Can they hang in that spot?
Who's the next guy? He looks like he's got to be a man and a half.
Yeah, so the next one is the two.
He's two men.
He's the one you're sleeping with, and he's also the one that's willing to bring you a baguette in the morning, let's say.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So we do this because the man that you're sleeping with takes up a great deal of space. You can only have one in your graph. So he has to be 2 1/4, because if you had 2, then it would be 4 1/2 men, and that would be too many.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you can, there's sex as part of the graph. If you're waiting for sex, then it's whatever physical intimacy that you're comfortable with that you wouldn't want to share with anybody else, right?
Yeah.
So if that guy's in your graph, he gets that position, but should somebody else step into that position, this guy's gone. He's chucked out. He's out forever, and you have to tell him, like, because you don't want to go back and forth, sleeping with this guy, then that guy. That leaves you with no real potential for a long-term relationship with either of them, right? Because like men think their penises are magical. Once they put it in you, they go like, that's it. You got to be happy with that forever, or else there's no real chance with them for a long term. You're doing something else.
So
you know
if
what I mean?
women are looking for something that's long term, do you offer coaching?
Oh yes. So I do coaching. We have a group on Facebook. I also do like really quick 20-minute coffee chats if you're in a desperate situation. I always recommend that they are 4-man planners already, that they're reading the book so that we have this common language to go by, because maybe you're not following the Wait for Sex Index, maybe you're not doing the chick's chick angle, which is like, if that man is in a relationship, you lean back. That's the angle. You know what I mean? That's the angle you want to take on, because you want to protect that woman. You want to be a chick's chick and be like, why are you here with me when you have a woman at home that you clearly are not being honest and open with?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, go deal with her. So we want someone that kind of knows the background of the book, so when we do a quick coffee chat, they can really get a lot done. And then I do long-term session work with people that is way more in depth.
Cindy, where can everyone find the 4-man plan?
That is at thefourmanplan.com.
Love it.
With the FOUR manplan.com.
Love it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And it's really just a way to turn this thing that everybody thinks is a chore and a drag and so draining into something that's fun and exciting and empowering for women.
Thank you so much, Cindy. We appreciate that. Make sure to get your copy of the 4-man plan and stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning LaLaLand. Bye.
Hi, world. Hi. We are behind the scenes here at the Focus TV network.
This is my first time ever going live.
Really?
I've never gone live.
Okay, good. So I'm glad. See, we're finally live.
Yeah.
This is good.
Thank you, Erica.
Yeah, girl.
For making it happen.
Also, follow at _Erica Delacroix. Oh my God. I think I'm gonna cut it off.
Yeah.
No, hold on.
No, just put it in the middle.
Yeah! Dum 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 dum.
Are you asking what my nationality? Oh, I'm Mexican and Russian.
I'm Mexican and Spanish. A little Irish in there.
All the colors of the white rainbow.
Exactly. All the colors of the Blanco rainbow. That means white in Spanish.
Good job.
Hi, my name is Jessie Golden, and I am the creator of The Golden Secrets, a completely, no, hang on a second, sorry. Can we start over? And this is my secret to golden, no, sorry. Just retrain your brain for the positive. Yeah, it's like so hard. It's so hard. Oh my God, such the process. I got it. Yes, a golden secret. It's no longer a golden secret.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand, bringing us a little morning magic. Day Shilkret, thank you so much for being with us today.
I'm happy to be here.
Congratulations on the book.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It's published tomorrow.
Morning
It's
Altered.
born
Perfect
tomorrow.
timing.
Born tomorrow. It'll be a new day for you.
It's very exciting. I feel like a new papa.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where did your journey start?
Well, actually, when I was 5 years old, I was the kid that would go out on my driveway after a rainstorm and see all the little wiggling worms that were displaced. And I'd help them onto little leaves, and I'd punch little holes in the earth on my front lawn, and I'd help them get back into the ground. And I would decorate every single wormhole on my front lawn with little twigs and little berries and, you know, bark. And I would have this constellation of beauty on my front lawn. I was that kind of kid.
Who taught you that?
Yeah. You know, kids innately want to make art in nature. It's like when they're at the beach, they just want to play with the sand or play with shells. You know, if you go to the woods, kids just want to play with leaves. If they sit on the grass, they're like tearing the grass and making things with it. It's innate for us as human beings to be creative. And nature is always creating and always dying and always recreating itself. So kids and nature go really well together. And I think as we get older, as we become adults, we forget that. And we become part of this modern society where we're always trying to, you know, self-direct and get to places. And our blinders, our sense of wonder with the world goes like from this to this. And we lose sight of most of our reality. Kids are like way more tapped in than adults.
They are, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I've always, you know, thought and found kids to be so incredibly inspired and inspiring because they haven't quite lost that wonder and that awe.
Yeah.
How would you recommend that adults sort of tap back into that? Obviously the book, but where would you recommend they start?
Well, I would say just leave your front door.
Yeah.
The EPA just put out a report a few years ago that said the average American, the modern American, spends 93% of their lives indoors.
Wow.
93%. Whereas like 3 generations ago, your ancestors were probably outdoors all the time.
Right.
So you have to ask yourself, what skills are you missing? What goes atrophied when you're spending 93% of your life indoors? I ask this question all the time to workshops I teach around the world. And people say curiosity, wonder, surprise, a sense of awe. I mean, really deep human skills that we're losing because we're not going outside.
And even if we are going outside, we're often just looking at it through our cell phones.
Yeah, right. Or through the car window.
Right.
You know, trying to get places. So the magic of this practice, by the way, this practice started about 7 years ago because I had a major relationship breakup. I was totally wrecked. I was so grief-soaked that all I could do was walk my dog every day. you know, through the hills where I was living. And along the way, I would just see these beautiful things at my feet, like beautiful crow feathers and beautiful clusters of berries. And I became so enamored with them that one day I walked to the top of a hill and there was a eucalyptus tree. It was dawn. The fog was rolling in. It was very Spielbergian. And I sat down under that tree and I just saw these beautiful amber-colored mushrooms that looked like they were painted in watercolor. And I started to arrange it on the earth. And an hour went by in a second. It was the first time in 4 months that my grief wasn't weighing me down. And I made a challenge to myself. Could I return to that spot for 30 days and make something beautiful? And I did it. Every morning I would walk my dog, I'd grab a basket, I'd find beautiful things along the way that everyone would walk over or think that wasn't important, leaves and bark and berries and bones. And I'd go to that same tree and I'd just arrange something beautiful. Your last guest spoke about sacred geometry. So I'm obsessed with symmetry and geometry. It's a universal language. When I see something symmetrical, my whole body goes, you know? And I would make something, and every day I felt like I was metabolizing my grief. And I was working through my life.
That's incredible. And you were doing it simply for the joy of doing it.
Doing it.
Goal.
Yeah, well, you know, because I've been doing it 7 years, life happens, right? My best friend has a baby, for instance. So I go outside and I make something beautiful for that baby. And I photograph it and I send it to my best friend. And then they print it up and put it on the baby's wall. And that particular impermanent earth art was made for that baby to honor a milestone. And I think as human beings these days, we're missing that. We're missing ways to honor milestones in our lives. And we have to reclaim that. It's so innately human, you know? So this is a very easy way to do it. Anyone, any age, anywhere around the world can do this. You just step out your front door and you make something. And what's fascinating is this week alone, I got messages from people in Russia, Poland, and Iran who are making beauty right outside their front door, and they're sending it to me on Instagram.
How does that make you feel?
Chills. Like I have chills every day that there's a movement that's starting.
Well, it's so incredible too because it speaks to this, I think, law of life, which is that, you know, the more you focus on something, the more of it you get, you know, and you focusing on beauty and you're seeing the ways in which it's sort of just multiplying itself over and over and then coming back to you from across the world.
Yeah, there's seeds. I put out little seeds of my own beauty and then people are inspired and then they go out and make their own beauty. And the thing that's also fascinating is I get emails all around the world from people in Pakistan and Iran and Peru that their people, their ancestors have been doing this for thousands of years. So I'm tapping into something that's very old, but that's so helpful for modern human beings to just make things.
Isn't it so interesting, though, how people really are tapping into an ancient culture, whether it's with their morning altars or their Kundalini yoga, and really drawing from their spiritual selves?
Because we're starving for meaning.
Completely starving for it.
We're starving for it. Yeah, and this is the beautiful thing about morning altars is they're completely impermanent. So can I pick up this book?
Oh, please.
Okay, so on the cover, which is very tactile, that's part of the altar that I made. But if you look on the back, that's it a few days later.
Wow.
And they're all impermanent. So part of the magic and the wisdom of this art is that you do it exactly how you want to do it. I'm a perfectionist, as you can see. It's very hard to do this in nature.
Oh, I can imagine.
And then the wind comes, or the rains come, or by the way, this one, I had a squirrel literally sneak onto this and steal a nut from the altar in the middle of it. No. And it helps, to me, what this does is it helps me every day relate to change, which is the underlying current of life. And when change comes and you don't have any practice relating to change, you show up as an amateur to change. But this is a daily practice so that you make something and it changes. And then sometimes you're heartbroken about it, sometimes you're in wonder with it. but it helps you every day like a muscle, like you're exercising a muscle of being in relationship with change and impermanence.
I just absolutely love that. I talk to people every day, and I would say that if I were to reduce everything that they struggle with down, it's really loss and separation and change. It's instability, insecurity, unpredictability, and the inability to sort of predict what's going to happen in the future. But the interesting thing about it, what you've just highlighted so well, is that when you accept all of that, and you can turn it even into a practice, you find a deeper level of permanence, stability, security, and predictability.
Yeah, and not only that, not just turn it into a practice, but take uncertainty and make beauty with it. That to me is the magic, right?
That is magic.
Yeah, you're taking something, look, life's unstable, life's uncertain, life's mysterious. So in the face of mystery, can you make beauty? And that's this.
And you've got an incredible event happening.
Oh yeah.
November 2nd. Tell us a little
Do you know
bit
about this?
And let's hear about it.
Okay, so about a week and a half ago, we were just invited, my team and I, to go to the 9/11 Memorial Plaza in downtown Manhattan, where Ground Zero happened, and they're inviting all of downtown Manhattan to make one large mourning altar underneath the survivor tree in that area, and we're very honored. It's a very sacred spot, and this impermanent art is there to teach people about impermanence and change, and also to honor the victims of that place of 9/11.
Wow!
And it's a deep honor. That's a very sacred spot for this culture, and to make something that's not meant to last there, that's made something out of the actual place. You know, we're going to actually work with the land there. To me, is such a beautiful way to honor the victims and to honor New York, the spirit of that city.
Oh my goodness, just incredible. It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
How can people find and follow and contribute to the event?
So if you go to morningaltars.com/events, that's the information for that particular event. And it's part of the Reimagine Festival. So I'm quite honored to be there. The next day I'll be building one of these live on stage with the band Dispatch. And so you could do that, and also on Instagram I'm going to be posting quite a lot about it at Morning Altars.
Such an honor to have you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
You're so incredible.
Quite a pleasure to be here on the eve of the birth of my book.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm Kimberly Chang, and I'm a woman warrior.
And then another one, nonsense. I'm just kidding. You guys are all so newsy. I'm like, who was that? Was that Liberty?
Do you want the definition of a woman warrior?
Yeah, I'm going to ask. Oh, I'm definitely. She's like,
okay.
Give me the question. So it could be resilience.
No, I was just going to say that.
Okay, great. Done. Done. That's a great one. Woo! Love that.
We're going to keep it real on Sweat with Soul.
That's a wrap.
Talk about it all.
Okay, go ahead.
Talk about it all. I mean, you're an actress, you're a musician, you're the world's best guitarist. When you wear that many hats, you gotta cover it all. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I'm so excited to welcome to the show Melina Moy. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me this morning.
An actress, a musician, a philanthropist. You have so many hats, I want to celebrate them all.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about you and your journey as an artist.
Okay. In a nutshell, I'll say it like this. I was very intrigued by what you guys were talking about earlier, because this is something I absolutely identify with. For myself, focus, I think, is a very important piece of my life. Absolutely. But I came to Los Angeles a few years ago. I was homeless. I came here with $20. I lived on the street. I used to wash up in gas stations, and literally I'd park my car and I'd sleep in between the front and the back of the seat, and I'd have a knife and a Bible. And I just remember, yeah, I just kept thinking, man, you know, God, if you want something to happen, you got to turn this around.
Yeah.
So for me, two things happened when this took place. Living this way, it allowed me to really depend on God, and it also allowed me to really develop instincts. And it made me to really rely on the things that I couldn't see. My faith just grew so much stronger because one by one, things started to turn around. So from starting that way, literally coming here $20 and just really trying to make it work, which I wouldn't advise anybody to ever do. So someone just don't come to LA with $20, please.
It's the hard way.
That's the hard way, right? In a dream, right? So no, literally, after all this happened, a guy heard about my story, and he ended up investing in my label. So from then on, I ended up raising capital. One thing led to another. We started my label, WCE Records. The reason I started the label is because, once again, when you're different, you know, sometimes you're going to have to create your own lanes. These things don't exist. So,
congratulations.
Absolutely.
Creating your own $20 in a drink.
Amen.
From the car
When
to
you put
raising
it that way,
capital.
oh my God, no, that's real. Amen. And yeah, and like you said, focus. That is one thing that, because you're right, there's so many hats that you have to wear. There's so many compartments that we, as we are as humans, that we have to compartmentalize to just handle certain things day to day. But I love it. I love to play. I love to sing. So for me, whether I was making any money or not, I always wanted to do what I'm doing right now. But like you're saying, you never in a million years. I think it really hit me when I actually was sitting on top of, when I was at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and I had just honored the Queen of England. And I remember going, oh my God, this is crazy. Because I remember I hit the last note, and I looked over and up above, and there was the royal flyover. And on the last note, and I remember going, what is my life? This is insane. I had to, like, you know what I mean? Because then you really start to go, this is crazy. So, but what I like to look at them sometimes too is little things that I like to say that the universe, these amazing nuggets, they allow you to keep going and allow you to realize that you are doing the right thing. And then, so there's all these great moments that happen in my life that, I mean, I gotta tell you, there's no way these things, I just.
What are some of those highlights? I want to hear.
Oh, man, like when I did the national anthem.
Yeah.
For me, I just wanted to play the song. I was like, man, thanks for thinking of me. This is gonna be awesome. So never in a million years do you think you're gonna make history. So I was just like playing the song, the national anthem, and I remember I was in the moment, 80,000 people, and when I finally saw the footage when it was done, I never realized that when you get a chance to see it, it was all these fireworks that were going off, and this was the what is it? The Minnesota Vikings versus the Dallas Cowboys. So this is the first time that for myself, I guess, as an African American left-handed female player, to go and actually play the Star Spangled Banner on electric guitar. So this is an incredible moment, and someone said, you know, I think this is a first. We've never had this before. And the next thing I know, it just propelled from there. And then the outfit that I wore, they ended up putting it on display at the Hard Rock, the Hard Rock, and then they shared this with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So once again, and then just recently, my new album, Bad As I Want to Be. The reason I wrote this record.
Great title.
Yeah. You know, I wrote this record, and it's so weird because I'm just rambling on. Yeah. But I wrote this record because somebody made me feel like I didn't matter and I didn't count. And in my mind, I thought, you don't even know the road that where I've been. And I was mad at myself because I allowed that person to take a little piece of my energy. And the thing that was so difficult was because I'm thinking, man, in this business, things are not fair. But how do you look somebody in the eye, someone who's looking up to you, and allow them to think that everything is possible? So that's when I said, you know, this, honestly, again, as an African-American woman in rock music, certain avenues, they just aren't here yet. So we are absolutely creating a lane. And for me, people always say, you know, you're the first. And I always say, this is a great thing, but it's not about being the first. It's about really helping other people to get in, because once we all can get in, there's more women who are doing what they want to do, playing the guitar, people not having to be judged over certain things and people having certain stigmas. This changes so much for all of us. So I'm like always looking for the Justice League, because in my mind, you're good at what you do, I'm good at what I do, you're good at what you do. Together, collectively, we can change a lot of stuff. And so that's what, for me, that's what I'm trying to do. So with the album, I said to myself, you know what? Here's the thing. Celebrate yourself. Don't look to someone else to tell you or put you on some pedestal. celebrate everything that makes you who you are. That is what makes you special. There's only one you. And so that's when I said, so I don't forget it. Which, so I don't forget. I said, man, I'm going to do this record, and I title it Bad As I Want to Be, so that I know. And I said, you know what? So for whoever, woman and man, whatever you feel that gives you that extra push, that makes you feel like, man, I can do this, do it. And for me, I was like my red lips, and if you see my album cover, I took a stance of, like a warrior, like me against saying, hey, this is, I'm putting my stake, my foot in the, or how do you say it, I'm staking my claim. I've been here. This is what I do, and you can't erase me. And I made something happen, and this is it. And to me, I'm somebody. And for me, people like my parents always said to me, when you don't see yourself, show up. When you think you can't, show up. And always know that you matter and you count. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, you've done it incredibly. Guitar World says you're one of the best guitarists in the world.
Thank you, I like those people. Guitar World. No, thank you. But again, like I said, I'm so appreciative. But I think for me, like what you said, it's not about trying to get. I mean, in the beginning, we all like, man, you know, we want to be the best. You want to do this.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right. But then at a certain point, you realize, okay, so you are the best at this, but how does that make you feel? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be so many bests. You know what I mean? So what about you?
And then the art changes, and now you've got to compete with a different way in which people are doing things. Right.
So my dad always said to me, do you want the good news or the bad news? And I was like, what's the bad news? And he'd say, Melina, I don't care how much you practice or do anything you do, you're never going to be Michael Jackson or, you know, Mariah Carey or Janet Jackson. And I'm like, okay, what's the good news? Right? Like, how can there be any good news? He's like, Melina, the good news, they're never going to be you.
Whew, I love that.
Yeah, he said, so you go do that. You'll win at that. And that I took to heart, and that I've done with my whole life. And then I think that is when, as we go out and we tour, people would always say to me, man, Melina, when I'm seeing you on stage, I feel like, you know, watching you, I can go and do this. I wanted to be a doctor, but what I really want to do is I wanted to be a writer, but now after watching you on stage, I think I could do it. So then I thought, wow, how can we help people to feel confident to continue to do what they really want to do, because that's how you really become happy. And so that's when my fiance and I started to start Drive Hope. So the foundation is pretty much to help underserved youth and to help them to realize what is attainable, and not just the things that we see, which is, again, the singers, the recording artists, but also the behind the scenes. Everybody matters. Everybody's role is important. So it's the who, what, when, where, why, and how you became the person that you are. I think that part of our job also, like you were saying earlier, is communication. I think that, yeah, it's so, I just love people, and clearly I love to talk.
We love your story.
We love it.
No, I mean, so I just love to talk, so it's just like, yeah, I love people, and it's so weird for me just to talk and not ask you that. I'm like, yeah, what about you?
That's the point of the interview, though.
It's all about you. So what's next for you, Melina?
Man, you know what? I think, well, seriously, the movie is out. It's called The Samuel Project, and this is my acting debut. I was super excited. I had a chance to work with the legendary Howland, and I was so nervous. I didn't even know who he was at first. Sorry, Mr. Howland. And I went and I looked everything up. I was like, oh my God! I watched all the Barney
It's almost better if you don't know. That way you go in there with a little less anxiety.
Right? So then I was still like, okay, you know, because Mr. Hal is, man, he's incredible, but he is just like what we discussed, very focused. Obviously, when a man is 86 years old, this man has lived, seen, done, had it all. So you better come in prepared, and you know what I mean, definitely keeps you on your toes. So for me, this was just incredible because I always wanted to be on the big screen. And so now with the opportunities that have come around, this is just incredible. And I just feel like I'm not going anywhere. And this is just the beginning. And I am going to give it everything I got. And I'm so excited about it. And this was a great way, I think, for me to also showcase another side of my creativity.
Absolutely.
And the film is in select theaters nationwide. So you can find more information at the SamuelMovieProject.com. Yeah. And then I leave November 7th to head on my European tour, Bad As I Want to Be, and we'll come back in December. And then I'll add one quick thing, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Again, when you make a record, you're thinking that you're making, well, again, you're giving a piece of who you are. For me, it's yeah, when you're using your creativity, it's you. So, as you guys know, it is the for us, the Grammy
my Grammy, how do you say it? The Grammy members are now making their decisions, and I thought that we were making one type of record, but what was interesting is the Academy felt that we were making another type of record. There you go. So I would say to everyone, please look for Bad As I Want to Be, all my members, voting members, in the pop vocal category, which and we're going against some of your favorite artists who are mine as well too. Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran and like everybody, Christina Aguilera.
You're
so
a good company.
This is a great company.
Absolutely.
So this is super exciting. And yeah, so please take a listen to Bad As I Want to Be. And again, thank you guys.
Thank you.
If you have any more questions.
Yeah. Well, where can people find you online?
Yes, again, my name. So Melina Moy, you can find me at melinamoy.com, Instagram Melina Moy. The only one that's not Melina Moy is my Facebook, which is Melina Moy Music. And like I said, anytime you see me in the area, please say hello. And I would always say continue to support live music because it's important. And
Thank you.
yeah, always know that you count and go for it.
Awesome.
Be as bad as you want to be. Stay tuned. We'll be back more. Good morning, La La Land.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm Kimberly Chang, and I'm a woman warrior.
And then another one, nonsense. I'm just kidding. You guys are all so newsy. I'm like, who was that? Was that Liberty?
Chang, and I'm a woman warrior.
And then another one, nonsense. I'm just kidding. You guys are all so newsy. I'm like, who was that? Was that Liberty?
Do you want the definition of a woman warrior?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask. Oh, I'm definitely. She's like,
okay.
Give me the question. So it could be resilience.
I was just gonna say that.
Okay, great. Done. Done. That's a great one. Woo! Love that.
We're gonna keep it real on Sweat with Soul. That's a wrap.
Okay. I said Dr. B show. I'm just having fun. This is so hard. What else do I need to do? Oh. That's my life. That's funny. No, can we start all over? That's too much talking. Do I just talk again? That was so hard. Thank you.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I am so excited to welcome Lisa Link to the show. Thank you so much for being with us, Sunshine.
Thank you.
You are such a comedian, actress, creator of Dog Moms.
Yes.
We gotta go there.
Okay, fine, please.
Okay. So take us back because obviously there was this parody of Dance Moms.
Yes. So are you familiar with Dance Moms?
I am, of course. She's from Pittsburgh.
Yes. Oh, yes, you know, Abby Lee.
Yes.
Okay, so I try not to watch reality TV, but I do get sucked in, of course. And then I hated myself for watching this show. I just hated myself because it's like the perfect storm. It's children who are upset and moms who are trying to do their best, and this woman who is like holding people to a professional standard that's unrealistic. And I just thought, I can't stand that these young girls are being kind of emotionally abused, right? And I thought, this is terrible, and yet every Tuesday night, my ass was on the couch ready to watch. And then I thought, you know what though, if there was, because I have dogs, I don't have children, and I thought if there was a show that was putting animals through any kind of emotional abuse, even for a hot second, I would move heaven and earth to get it off the air. So then I thought, okay, the only appropriate punishment is for me to create something. So I made Dog Moms, which is a parody, and I play Waggy Lee. Waggy Lee Miller, who is the preeminent dog trainer and dog dance trainer. And I mean, nothing is funnier than watching adults put costumes on dogs and scream at them. And it's totally improvised, and I have all my improv friends from Chicago and LA, and we just, they are just brilliant. Everybody was brilliant in it. It was so fun. I can't believe we had 6 dogs on set on one day, and it was great, and we got everything we needed.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's been the most challenging part of putting that production together?
You know, it was really having 6 dogs on set on one day because we had no idea. They weren't professional dogs. They were our dogs. And so, but they were like, this is great. We're getting treats all day long. You know, we're just playing around in a backyard, and they had a great time.
But what is your life like as a real dog mom in Los Angeles?
Oh, my dogs love LA. They love being LA dogs. They are so LA. They get acupuncture and physical therapy. We go to CARE, which is California Animal Rehab. I am going to get a shout out to them because one of my dogs, they're 12 and 14. They have some mobility issues. One injured her back a couple years ago and literally wasn't walking, and now is walking. And I wish I got physical therapy and acupuncture, but my dogs are more LA than I am.
Only because of their mother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right?
You get it. You get it. I know. But listen, those are my kids. That's what I do.
It is interesting that because so many times people just think, oh, they're pets, but they are like your children.
Listen, I choose not to have children, and I choose pets that I can leave in a crate for 8 hours and not go to jail for it, right? So that's my jam,
But
right?
I mean, you do care for them.
Oh, yeah, acupuncture. But, you know, if you had a kid and you put it in a crate hours and left, you'd go to jail.
Yeah, they might not
And
work.
mine is called, that's proactive dog guardianship.
We have seen you on some of the top network shows, films. You are obviously hilarious and in such a character. What is your life like as a working actor in LA?
Gosh, you know, thanks for asking, because I feel like there's a real like smoke and mirrors misconception, and I loved what you said at the top of the show.
In
about
LA?
How,
Smoke and mirrors?
No, it's not about
Not at all.
fantasy. Yeah, you get out here and you think, I'm on the sprint to the Oscars. It's a marathon, you know, and I do believe there is work for everybody who is willing to work and work hard. But boy, you really have to find your niche, and you have to be good, and you have to work hard at it. And fortunately, I love hard work. Like, I really love.
You're a Midwesterner.
Thank you, thank you. I do it, and I love creating my own content. And I don't know. I've just been really, really fortunate to kind of fall into a great acting school and find great people, and just love the process of the job out here, which is booking the job. The job is booking the job, right? Until you're, you know, a top name star, that's the job.
Did you always know you wanted to be in entertainment when you were little?
You know, my mom's best friend, who's no longer with us, remembers calling me at age 4 Sarah Bernhardt, because everything was so dramatic, right? You know, Mom, hey, won't let me play with him. That's my brother. So she knew right away. And then I think I veered away from it, so I'm kind of glad. I went to school and I thought I was going to be in the business route, and then I came back by way of improv, which was kind of...
Why'd you come back?
I was in grad school, I was getting my MBA, and in the student paper there was an ad for an improv team this woman was putting together, and I thought, oh, that'll be a great way to relieve stress.
Yeah.
And I just fell right in love with it, and that became kind of what I wanted to do all the time.
Yeah, I don't blame you. MBA improv. It's like,
well, one pays much more than the other.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But one pays more intrinsically
That's right.
than the other as
Thank
well.
you. Nice callback, my friend. Nice work.
Every now and then.
Yeah, there you
For
go.
people watching who don't know what improv is, how would you describe it?
So improvisation is the art form of creating scenes, songs, games, etc. at the spur of the moment. So it can be one person up to a team of like 15 people. That's a lot. But you are given a suggestion from the audience, and then you create anywhere from like a single scene all the way up to an hour-long performance. And there's just many different kinds of improv and forms, and long form, short form. It's kind of its own huge art form, and there's a lot of places to study, and I've been at some of the best, and I've really loved my journey.
It's a huge scene in Chicago. It's a huge scene in both New York and LA, but it's also a great place for you to discover things about yourself when you're put in these intense situations. What have you learned?
I love tolerating ambiguity. I'm very comfortable with it, which has really prepped me for being an actor here in LA. And I enjoy a collaborative medium, which I thought improv was the main collaborative medium. But, you know, I've learned since being out here in TV and film that is the most collaborative medium, because even though you don't know what you're doing in improv and you're creating in the moment, and you truly have to be like listening, and all of you are creating something together, man, when you're working on a network show, even if I'm showing up as a co-star or a guest star, there's hundreds of people who are all working together to create the best, 30 to 60 minutes of television or 90 to 2 hours of film. And that to me, I just kind of blew me away. I was like, oh, this is way more collaborative than improv. And also it can go way wrong when people are collaborating.
Well, what are you collaborating and creating now?
Listen, the segues in this show. If there was an Emmy category for segues,
we get one?
nominated and dominated, okay? You're welcome. Let's see. So I just,
very nice.
Thank you. I just shot a project that's going to come out on Apple TV, and I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but I'm very excited to get into that space. I will be on a cool project also that I can't talk about. Let me talk about the stuff I can talk about. I was just on Grey's Anatomy, which was like a huge dream to walk on that set, and I was like, I know where I am, except I was lost because it's like 2 huge sound stages.
That's a dream for people who aren't even actors.
Yes. And then I was on This Is Us and Modern Family, and that was a great episode because Chris Martin from Coldplay was on it, and like the whole set was kind of just like we were all fangirling. He was just the nicest person. And then every Sunday on Instagram, I have a show live called Suggestion Sunday, where I improvise and I invite special guests in, and then people can play along in the comment section. And I just kind of improvise weekly on a new medium, which is super, super fun.
So
So fun.
Yeah.
So where can people tune in?
Great. So all of my social media handles are It's Linke, ITSLINKE. And yeah, they can just join in. It's Sundays at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern. And you just jump on and you can, it's the best kind of improv show because it's free and you can leave whenever you want. And
No drink minimum.
No drink minimum. You don't have to stick around until the end and tell your friend it was so good. You don't have to do that.
Don't have to worry about parking,
No.
valet.
Pajamas on the couch, and you don't have to participate, or you can participate as much as you want.
Wow, love it.
Thanks.
Well,
Love
thank
you.
you, Lisa, for being here.
This is so fun.
So fun. Be sure to tune in Sundays at
12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern.
Absolutely. It's Linky. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more. Good morning, La La Land.
Television personality, best-selling author, and founder of Passion to Paycheck, and this is my life. I grew up in a really small town called Los Banos, California, then San Diego State for college. So I started working inside of fashion and television and made my leap to Los Angeles. From there, I wrote a best-selling book called Passionistas, Tips, Tales, and Tweetables from Women Pursuing Their Dreams. Also met the love of my life who proposed publicly. ABC, The Knot, and Pop Sugar picked it up. Thank you, baby. That all led to the conference Passion to Paycheck, which is now a talk show here on the Focus TV network. My purpose here with Passion to Paycheck is to bring transparent, vulnerable conversation not only to your TV screens and your digital platforms, but to society as a whole. And this is my life.
Buenos dias, Los Angeles. My name is Dr. Brian Abasolo. I am a doctor of chiropractic, and this is my life. So I was born and raised in Miami. My parents are both Colombian. I decided to get into the health field, the natural health field, and become a doctor of chiropractic. At 37 years old, I had the opportunity to be casted onto the show The Bachelorette on ABC, where I eventually met the love of my life and my current fiancée, Rachel Lindsay. And together we have decided to use our platform to spread love and health and motivation to the masses, to make your body feel good, look good, and have it function at an all-time high. And this is my life.
Live from Los Angeles, this is Good Morning La La Land. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're talking Motivation Monday, and we've been discussing top ways to stay motivated and keep the faith. And so I guess that's the question I have for each of you is, if there's one tip you would give other people to stay motivated, stay inspired, and keep the faith with respect to their purpose and their passion, what would you recommend? So we'll start there.
I'm really into people staying in touch with themselves. I really believe in the N=1 experiment, where you are your own researcher, your own experimenter in life, because that relationship to yourself and your own body is the only one that you really can't live without. So when people are confused about everything that's going on, when I'm confused, I like to get quiet and feel for myself, like, how does this make me feel? What do I really want?
I love that. I read this article today. It basically said that BQ, which is body intelligence, and MQ, moral intelligence, is more important than a traditional intelligence. So
Amen.
I love that. It's everything body.
Yeah, I believe that.
Oh, me. How do I stay motivated? Sugar and also grit. I think there's more and more research about grit and the quality of grit, and it's hard to teach grit, but I have a lot of it, and it doesn't bother me when I don't succeed. In fact, I've learned to just embrace getting feedback, and I think that's a big lesson.
Wow, love that. Grit is big.
Yeah, so I'm welcome to
Jessica's
feedback after all of this.
I actually do coaching, and my business is called Legacy as Livelihood. And to me, legacy is the thing that keeps me motivated. I like to think generationally. So for me, it's like I'm standing on the shoulders of everyone in my family that came before me. I'm benefiting from all of their hard work. And so I like to think 7 generations ahead. I'm like thinking about my grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and yeah, how can I make a world that they would want to inhabit? And so that's what keeps me motivated, is staying in the game long term for them.
That's incredible. I have trouble with 7 minutes ahead. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Just practice. Basic practice.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And for me, I just always look at all the bad things that happened, and I look at how God actually looked out for me, and He always had me when I thought that He didn't. So whenever something comes up that I just can't handle, I think about, if He brought me through that, I know that He's going to bring me through this. And sometimes it's so hard, but then I know that there's a reason, and I have to learn to let that go. And one of the things I also like to tell people is, you know, faith, and also it's like a muscle. You have to constantly just keep exercising it. And also rejection is like a muscle. So that what happens is, like you said, where it just begins to roll off. And just understand, if something was for you, it will be. I promise you. This will happen. It will come back to you. I promise you.
Love it.
I know this. Yeah,
love that.
It
Just
will.
fantastic.
Thank
That's
you
getting you all
all.
inspired. Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate your time and your light. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And you can catch all your favorite interviews available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. DM us.
Please
Keep
like,
the faith.
share, comment.
We love you.
We love you.
Rich and my friend.